Hey everyone, this is not my normal setup, but it's exactly why I wanted to still record the podcast today because we don't always have the opportunity for our perfect setup. I am traveling in the Atlanta area and I don't have an opportunity this week to record in my studio, aka my basement, where all my tech is set up. I talked to you all a lot about using the time you have, taking advantage of spare moments in time and resources when you have them. It's important to use those moments in time and record the podcast. In my case, depending on what it is you want to do, that might look a couple different ways. But one of the things that I want to make sure we talk about today is your business doesn't have to stop because life happens. I'm recording this from my hotel room. I'm on my phone, no fancy studio, no microphone. I've got my headphones in. I don't have perfect lighting. I was already thinking, well, I could just use the audio for the podcast and not post on YouTube. Maybe that's what I'll do. But I could also put images or other video over the YouTube video. And there would be obviously me pacing because I like to talk and pace. But then there's an opportunity to do something different with a podcast on YouTube this month or this week. I still will be a week behind. I've had a really busy few weeks of travel. I thought, you know what? I still need to just record. I don't have to have a long podcast this week. I can at least record and show you that it's still possible to do things while you're traveling. It's really more important about being consistent. And if you're new and just trying to take those first steps, consistency is the key. Even if it's small steps, it's really important to just get that consistency going. You know, if you think about regular life, you take vacations, work trips. I've traveled a lot this year for work. It's important to spend time with your family and you have obligations and just unexpected things come up. If you think about the successful creators, they have all the same challenges that we do. They find a way to push through it. Maybe it's that they plan weeks and weeks in ahead. They always have a backlog of 20 episodes. I don't. I need to do better than I do, but I don't have a backlog of 20 episodes. I need to record just when I get the moment to do it. You're not looking for perfection. Honestly, if you're in your car, you're not watching me anyway. You don't care whether I'm pacing in a hotel room or recording in a fancy studio that's not fancy. This ties back to what we've talked about in other episodes. You don't have to wait for everything to be perfect or until you feel ready, because that time is never going to come. You can say consistency, I have to do the same thing every week. That's not true, because businesses are multifaceted. You end up doing totally different things. If you think about, in my case, I have a blog. I can still do some of those pieces. But one of the questions that came up is, what if you can't travel with a lot of tech? What can you still do? I literally have my phone and I have an iPad that I'm using with some notes on it. That's it. I don't have great lighting. This hotel room has terrible lighting, if I'm being honest. I mean, there's my lighting. That's about it. You make the best of what you can. If you were just traveling by yourself with a phone, you make the best of it. What does your business do? Maybe business isn't your goal. You have different fitness goals, or you want to do writing, or you're trying to work on a relationship. Okay, working on a relationship, make a phone call, send some texts, write an email, whatever that looks like for you. If you are a writer, use the downtime when you travel to write or brainstorm. If you're starting a business, can you send some emails, do some research, do some follow-up? What can you do on your phone that doesn't require you to take a lot of tech with you? So if you had your phone today, what could you accomplish? Think about that. Your phone is basically a computer. You could do what I'm doing, record a podcast. You could type maybe and write a blog post. I actually can't because I didn't bring my personal computer. I can send emails from my phone. I could film a reel because I'm filming a podcast. You can apply for a job if you have a profile set up on Indeed. You could read a chapter of a book you've been trying to read. You could walk for 20 minutes. You could work out in the gym at the hotel. There's lots of ways you can sneak in your goals. Honestly, if you just wanted to work out in your hotel room, you just throw a YouTube video up and do a free workout. I think it's really important to think about your business. Don't build a business that only works at home. You know, why Why would I say that? Well, can you do what you want to do anywhere? Can I write anywhere? Yep. Can I record anywhere? Yep, doing that. Can I answer emails anywhere? Oh, yeah. Can I edit anywhere? What are the things that you can simplify and do from anywhere? This gives you freedom and takes away some of the complexities that we use to keep ourselves from taking that next step. So don't build a business that only works from home. Let's do a little bit of a deeper dive behind the curtain. I have some downtime tonight. I'm still going to go to bed early because I love getting extra sleep. It helps me the next day, especially when I'm traveling. I'm walking around with some notes in my hand so that I can kind of keep track of what I'm saying. I did almost skip doing this. I'm like, I don't have to do this. I can just wait another week. I have a work trip and then I have a personal trip. By the time I get back home, I will be a week behind with no video recorded. At least when I get home, I will have one video, maybe two, but for sure one recorded. That's great. And then when I go home, I can already just start editing, which is half the battle. Another reason I wanted to do this is, I talk about roadblocks and removing roadblocks and being able to do this. If I can do this while I'm traveling, pretty much anybody can. I was listening to Shannon McKinstry, her podcast. This might already be a week or two ago by the time I'm recording this, but she was sitting in the airport just recording her podcast episode. I don't know that she posts them on YouTube. I don't know that I've looked, but I do listen to her podcast and I was smiling. I'm like, that's perfect. She's sitting in an airport and getting the message out and staying consistent. That's really what's most important. You didn't hear anything behind her and none of us cared that she was sitting in an airport. I did worry about this episode not looking as polished or that it wouldn't sound as good, but I use Riverside FM. It's going to sound fine no matter what I do because it will enhance the audio. Will it look as polished? No, but I'm finding that on YouTube, people want kind of unusual things to look at and not as interested in the stationary aspect of the podcast. The regular podcast, this works fine because people can just listen. Nobody stopped listening to a podcast because I was in a hotel room or somebody was in an airport. To summarize, you probably think that you need perfect conditions, but perfection will drive you to be inconsistent because you'll want perfect and you can't deliver perfect because life isn't perfect and life is certainly not consistent. If you want to do this while you're doing other things on the side and balancing all the things that come with life, you're going to have to be okay with imperfection if you want any kind of consistency. There's things that can help with that. I'm traveling with my phone and an iPad. I have some notes in my phone or I've been able to translate to my iPad. I use notes. I don't use voice memos. I probably should, but I don't. Then I can just edit when I get home. So I'm not as far behind. What have you been putting off because your circumstances aren't ideal? Identify one thing that you can do today with what you already have in place. All right. Well, I appreciate you all listening in today. Thank you for joining me. If you are not signed up already, please check the show notes and sign up for my newsletter. I have something coming in the fall that will help you pivot in your second act. Looking forward to sharing that with everybody in the coming months. Thanks. Take care.